Max looked up from playing his one note and he said, "They're looking for the place. I found it."
I used to make like little radio shows and shit with my sister on one of those.
Oh, really? I used to do that shit too with my stepbrother. I used to fucking have called monster interviews. Like we'd have somebody play like a monster. We'd interview them and stuff, and ask them like why they eat little babies and shit.
Like this week we've got Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. Adrenochrome. So is adrenochrome really good? This shit'll fuck you up, yo.
I wonder if adrenochrome is real, right? Didn't I look this up before?
Is it really real? Though?
You want to start the show? Let's just start the show.
Yeah, let's just start the show.
Welcome to CCN. I'm Lil Ray. That's Ted the Heistman.
Hey, hey.
Pew, pew, pew.
Pew, 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 pew.
So yeah, let me look this up because I actually think we looked it up before and adrenochrome was real and it was that was strange. Let's see.
People do like take it like a drug though?
I don't know, man. The thing is I feel like that got popularized from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, the Hunter Thompson book.
Oh yeah.
That's okay. You've seen that movie, right? Or read that book? That scene.
Yeah, Johnny Depp.
Yeah, the scene in the movie when he's like losing his mind because the lawyer gave him some drug that he got from a client. Yeah, that's adrenochrome that he's talking about.
Oh, really?
So, but the thing is Hunter Thompson, on multiple occasions would lie about fake drugs and say something so it's like
Bogaine, that kind of
I kind of feel like what if that's just where that came from and it's not real, but okay, well here it is.
I thought it was in the conspiracy.
Well now it is, but that's where the farthest back that I can remember seeing something about adrenochrome was there. So
okay.
But now it's like you hear it all about QAnon and shit. So here's Wikipedia. Adrenochrome is a chemical compound with molecular formula C9H9NO3 produced by the oxidation of adrenaline. So that's real.
Wow.
Let's see. The derivative carbazochrome is a hemostatic medication.
Well, it's good for your blood.
Let's see. Well, they make some medicine from it or something. It looks like. Hold on. I don't know. Oh, dude, history. Several small scale studies involving 15 or fewer test subjects conducted in the 50s and 60s reported that adrenochrome triggered psychotic reactions such as thought disorder and derealization.
Wow.
1954 researchers Abram Hoffer and Humphrey Osmond claimed that adrenochrome is neurotoxic, psychotomimetic substance, and may play a role in schizophrenia and other mental illnesses. And
so probably don't take it.
The adrenochrome hypothesis. He and Osmond in 1967 speculated that megadoses of vitamin C and niacin could cure schizophrenia by reducing brain adrenochrome. Yeah, it sounds like if you would take it, it would make you feel like you're a schizophrenic.
Wow.
Well, here it goes. The adrenochrome theory of schizophrenia waned despite evidence that it may be psychotomimetic. I don't even know what that is, as adrenochrome was not detectable in people with schizophrenia. So I guess not. I mean, I am reading all this from Wikipedia too, so who fucking knows? But
yeah, it's like a word salad sometimes.
Doesn't look like. I don't know. It doesn't sound like something people would want to take.
Yeah.
Although I think that one thing is interesting there is it's a derealization. That it causes a thought disorder derealization. Derealization is it's weird. Let me look that up real quick.
Yeah. Okay.
Derealization is an alteration in the perception of the external world, causing sufferers to perceive it as unreal, distant, distorted, or falsified.
Wow.
So in other words, like what Buddhists say the world is like.
Oh yeah.
So does that mean that Buddhists are all suffering from derealization?
You get enlightened. You can become enlightened.
So that's kind of weird.
So they eat babies to become enlightened. The Illuminati. Right?
Dude, what if it's real? Wow, this is weird. I kind of wish I hadn't looked this up on the show because this is
That's
weird.
pretty trippy.
That's
Did I tell
really
you that
trippy.
time? Did I tell you that time I had a blog, and I used to look at all my hits, like people would visit my blog, and I was posting about Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche, that guy, you know who that guru guy. I posted about him, and then NASA like read my blog.
What?
Like somebody from NASA read my blog.
That's weird.
Because they were doing like Google searches on Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche. They came to my blog.
That's strange, man. I wonder what that means.
They're into that shit. I don't know. It could be some dude just on a computer at NASA, you know, just fucking around. Sure. He's supposed to be working.
Yeah, absolutely. Most likely, I guess. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. It was pretty dramatic, though, to see that on my little hit counter thing.
Dude, weird. So let's see. Let me open up the show notes here.
Okay.
Let's see what we're not even looking at the show notes today, though, are we? Today's our very special monkey episode.
We're looking at monkeys.
Monkey episode. Let me at least make a note to myself here. Take all this stuff out. All right.
Well, I had a fun weekend, though. Do we want to talk about our weekends or no?
Yeah, what'd you do on your weekend, buddy?
We went to the Bear Creek Nature Preserve, which is like pretty sweet because it's not like a mountain. It's like kind of flattish. It's like a little hilly. So like Narcy, I'm always dragging Narcy up mountains and stuff, you know. It's just kind of not that enthusiastic. But this was like a flat like meadow, and you go around these different circles, and there's like trees and meadows full of wildflowers and stuff. It was really nice. And then we had like a little picnic, and we found this rare trout. Like there's a trout. It's the Colorado state fish. Is the greenback cutthroat trout. Mm-hmm. And they're mostly extinct. Yeah, they thought they were going extinct in the 30s, but then they discovered them on Bear Creek. The only native population of the greenback cutthroat trout lives on Bear Creek. That's right where I live.
Weird.
It's like a little creek, and they live there. Yeah, they're native cutthroat trout. Because all the other, I guess they became extinct or almost extinct because people introduced other trout species like brown trout and rainbow trout. Mm-hmm. But it used to be just cutthroat trout lived in the West, and like mining operations and overfishing like made them go extinct. But they have the last remaining pure population of greenback cutthroat trout. And so we were walking on the nature trail, and I found one of these trouts under the bridge because I was like, "Hey, let's look under this bridge," because I know that like trout like to hang out under bridges, you know. Mm-hmm. And we saw one of them, and then I told the lady, and she's like, "You couldn't really hear me." She's elderly. I go, "Hey, we found a trout. We found one of those trout under the bridge." She's like, "There's a trout under the bench?" And I'm like, "No, under the bridge." And she's like, "What?" Like she didn't seem to give a shit. And then Narcy's like laughing at me and stuff. Like, you're just like a little kid. Like you just tell people shit, you know, like blurt stuff out.
That's true.
And I'm like, "This is a rare trout." And then, so we're like arguing about it. And she didn't realize there's the rarest trout in the world. And then this other couple is like, "Yeah, that lady didn't give a shit, but we care. We're gonna go find that trout." So it's kind of funny. Yeah, so we had fun, and then we did you see that link I sent you? Those two fighters that are gonna fight. The one dude has all these guns and shit. The other one's playing with Legos. The fucking Lego guy choked him out and won. Now he's a champion at that weight.
That's fucking funny. So the gangster power. Dude with all the guns and shit got his ass beat by the Lego dude.
He got beat by the Lego and the K-pop dude with the fucking Pokemon Go cards all over his wall.
Oh my god, that's funny. So that was a legit fight?
Yeah, he won the championship. He's the first Mexican-born UFC champion, and he's the one, I think it's like 135 or something like that, 135-pound champion of the UFC. Mm. He's like a total nerd. And the other guy, like at the weigh-in, they have like a face-off at the weigh-in, like the day before they weigh in, and the other dude's like mean mugging him, and then the guy Brandon Moreno, the nerd Lego guy, he makes like a little heart sign with his hands. So that's what he does, like at the stare down. It's really funny. But he was a badass, though. He like knocked him down and then choked him out and won like the second round.
Must have been all that Pokemon.
Yeah, he's a badass.
Weird. Dude.
So we watched that. Saturday.
Nice.
Then we did laundry at this laundromat. This was really fucked up what happened, okay?
Okay.
So we go to a different laundromat than we normally go to because we're going to check out potted plants at this nursery that's like next door.
Mm-hmm.
And so I spilled some laundry soap on the floor. And there's an attendant there, this really weird dude. And I go, hey, I spilled a little detergent on the floor. Do you have any paper towels I could use? And he walks over, he goes, oh, just do what I do. And he opens our fucking washing machine, takes out my shirt, and then wipes it off the floor. And then like puts it back in.
What?
What the fuck? I'm like looking at Narcy, like, what the fuck? Like we're
Oh my god. That's so insane.
I didn't really say it because I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't really want to argue with the guy, but I don't think he did it to be a dick. I think he just has like no sense of personal boundaries.
Like that's honestly what he does. Like he probably was like giving you a nice tip.
Yeah, like we were there before, like during COVID, and like it was the height of COVID. This was like in January, and like he didn't wear a mask, and he'd like stand like super close to you and stuff. Everybody's like pulling their head back. Yeah, I didn't want to go there again, but I got talked into it so we can go to that nursery.
Oh, that's funny, man. Yeah. Well, I bet you won't get talked into it now.
No, we're not going to go now. Well, then there's dog hair like all over the floor, and it's like blowing all over the laundromat. So like all our shit has dog hair on it.
Even though you don't have a dog, that's disgusting.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
I do not miss going to laundromats. I used to have to do that shit all the time.
Oh, you have one in your apartment complex?
10 years. I think it's been 10 years since I've been in a laundromat.
Oh, you own a washer dryer?
Well, ours here, we just have one that we can use for free, which is awesome.
Oh.
But before,
I've
just always lived at apartments that had their own laundromats, you know?
That's a perk. Well, we have them, but you got to pay. And the one dryer doesn't work that good here, so it takes your clothes forever to dry. So we just take it all down to the laundromat.
Lame.
Plus, you get in like wars with your neighbors. Like they'll be waiting to do their laundry, and they'll take your shit out before it's even dry. Leave you like a nasty note. They'll leave you like a nasty note.
What kind of nasty neighbors have you found? Shit. I've never had that happen before.
I've had it happen twice.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude. You have weird, like weird shit happens to you though. You always bump into like the worst people or something. Like
I bump into a lot of cool people too, though. But yeah, a lot of
always like saying crazy, like, "Oh yeah, I met this guy and he just like tried to steal my shit." And I'm like, "Wait, what? What's going on?" Like, yeah, we were driving over here and some dude, pulled off in the middle of the road and started hitting his girlfriend. And I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Oh yeah, because I told you you were thinking of like people. You were thinking of the meth head story where like this couple was arguing like the dude is a meth head.
Yeah.
We were at the laundry, in the Manitou. She was doing her laundry, and this meth head walks in, saying, "You stole my money, bitch." She's like, "I had to do fucking laundry."
Oh Jesus!
And then Narcy wanted to do an intervention. I'm like, "Fuck no, we're not doing an intervention."
Call the cops, man. Do an intervention that way. I don't know. Sometimes I'll do an intervention. It just depends, dude. I think I told you then too. It's like it just depends. You can't always just immediately like walk in and be like, "Oh, I know who's in the right here."
Yeah. Well, I knew that if we rescued this girl, and gave her like a ride, this fucking meth head dude would be chasing us. So.
Oh well, that wouldn't have stopped me, but
yeah,
just being worried about whether or not, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
she may have been the one that. No, was
usually when you break up a domestic dispute, they both turn on you.
Yep. That's absolutely
That's usually how it works. They pull together.
That absolutely.
That's actually how you can get different cichlids to breed. Like if there's like cichlids that you could breed. They're like tropical fish you could breed in captivity. But if you put a male and a female in together, they just kill each other. So you got to put an enemy fish in there, and then they'll both fucking attack the enemy fish, and then they'll bond together by fucking up this other fish, and then they'll breed.
Weird.
Yeah.
Interesting, man.
It's like psychology.
You're totally right. Because I've done it a couple times where I've tried to like interrupt somebody in the middle of a fight, and they just both they're like, "Fuck you, get out of here." Like, okay.
I know.
Sorry.
Yeah, the woman will get super mad. That was getting beat a minute ago.
Mm-hmm. It's weird, man.
Yeah.
That is a weird psychology thing. I wonder what that is.
I don't know what it is. Well, I guess I don't know. It's weird.
It's got to be something.
Well,
tied
there's
up
high
with, like,
conflict. There's high conflict personality types. So
Mhm.
they could be just high conflict people.
They're like
conflict with everybody.
Their amygdala doesn't work right.
Yeah, it's just like
gets triggered
jacked.
too quickly. Yeah,
It's just always fucking going 100 RPMs 24/7.
it's really sad too, because that means that the people like that are usually the victims of trauma, right? I don't think that's just something that normally happens. It'll be like, or either they have trauma, or like it'll be like their mother had trauma while they were in the womb, like stuff like that. And then they produce
like
too much cortisol, and their like amygdala's fucked up, like they're like amygdala.
Yeah, they're hyper vigilant.
Call that like the yeah.
I think that happens to dogs. If you take them to the dog park and they get bullied, they become like permanently fucked. Because it happened to my mom's dog.
That might be what happened to our dog, because she was a pound puppy, but she can't, like, now she's chilled out a lot in her fucking old age. But bro, like, if there was a dog like anywhere within sight, she'd lose her shit and like start barking and just going crazy and like,
wow,
yeah, it sucked.
Yeah, poor doggies.
So today is our special monkey episode, right?
Yes, today we're going.
Why is it? Is it just because we haven't been doing monkey stories for the past like month?
Yeah, we skipped monkey stories. Plus, everything was like getting super dark in the news.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
You know, with COVID and all the corruption, Israel and the Palestinians. So like, we need something super light. But then I researched all the monkey stories, and they're all a little bit fucked up.
I found that that's usually the case. Our monkey stories always have something messed up about them. Even like a real dumb like fluff story where it'll be like, oh yeah, a monkey saves kitten, and then you're like, the monkey had AIDS. And you're like, what? What?
Yeah,
I thought this was the same like, kitten story.
Or like you were telling me, like a monkey befriended somebody in Kentucky, but that turns out they sent the monkey to the monkey pound.
The friend called the cops on the monkey. That was the end of
now the monkey will live his rest of his days in a small cage. That's a real friend, you know. But friend somebody in the woods and they turn you in.
They immediately call animal control. So
yeah, you should write an article, how to be a true monkey friend, you know.
Yeah, an ally to monkeys.
Not one of these bitch ass fake monkey friends.
We need more monkey allies.
Yeah, we do. Apparently they need them because there's actually, well, that reminds me that we should segue into that one story, speaking of monkey allies, because so these monkeys that live in Fort Lauderdale, like nobody knows where they came from, but they finally like tracked down their origin.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they escaped from a zoo in 1948.
What? Wait, is this
Yeah, the ones in Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood, Florida.
I don't know. I've got 15
they live near the airport.
Tags open here.
They're green vervet monkeys.
Let's see.
They're from West Africa.
Oh man, I don't even know.
That's where I said origin of monkey.
Lay it on me. Everything you always wanted to know about wild monkeys in Dania Beach?
Yeah, Dania Beach. So Dania Beach is near an airport, and it's near Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Uh-huh.
And there's like this vacant area that used to be owned by like the power company or something. Or maybe it's still owned by the power company. But anyway, there's this like vacant area, and all these vervet green monkeys live there. And people had all these like urban myths, urban legends about how they got there.
Yeah.
Like some say they got there from, I don't know, like a traveling circus, or there's all these origins, but then they finally figured out they're like escaped zoo monkeys from a zoo escape in 1948. They've been living there for 70 years.
So not even that far actually from the rumors.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I guess like people wanted to develop it, and then like the people in the locals would like object because they didn't want the monkeys to be homeless. And then they had animal control, like tried to capture them all, but then people like had like a roadblock, like they blocked off animal control from fucking with the monkeys. So now they're just like living in peace, kind of. They eat like hibiscus flowers. So I guess they're pretty happy. But but the green monkeys, if you remember, those are the monkeys that originally spread AIDS to humans. Remember the green monkeys?
No, I don't know anything about the story.
Because it was bushmeat. It was like people eating green monkeys in West Africa.
Mm-hmm.
help the AIDS virus to jump from monkeys to humans. So that's that type of monkey. Because like people are saying,
or somebody fucked one of those monkeys.
That's what people are saying, but really what it is it's blood. It was like they were cleaning a monkey. They're like gutting the monkey and they cut their hand, they got in their bloodstream. Yeah. And then they went and had a big bunch of gay sex and spread the monkey AIDS to everybody. So, but that segues into our next article where now they've cured monkey AIDS.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so they've cured AIDS in monkey or monkey AIDS? Is there a different from monkey AIDS and people AIDS?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's slightly different. So they found a way to vaccinate monkeys against HIV.
Wow.
That's that monoclonal or something. What does it say? Some weird word begins with M. You see that article?
No.
Monoclonal.
I've got entirely too many articles over here.
I sent you like 10 articles. Yeah.
Monoclonal antibody prevents HIV infection in monkeys. Okay. Yeah,
so now monkeys are cool with the AIDS virus. They don't have to use condoms anymore. They had little condoms for them.
So will they be able to figure out in people too then?
I don't know. I mean, I guess, they're kind of working backwards, I guess, from the monkey to us. So, I mean, it's probably positive.
Yeah. No more monkey AIDS is definitely positive.
Yeah. So, I mean, hey.
So, okay, well, back though, what you were saying about these guys in Florida, monkeys aren't native to North America, though, at all, right?
No, they're not, which is weird because the snow monkey lives in Japan, and they're the northernmost monkey. And like Japanese weather is pretty similar to like most of the United States. It's like it's cold in the winter and snows. It's more hot in the summer. So they have like a temperate climate. So monkeys can obviously adapt to living in a temperate climate, but there's no monkeys in North America. So I did some Google searches to find out why. I guess there's like a few different reasons why. So like one of the main reasons is there's a certain type of monkey, like the New World monkeys. They, I guess they like evolved in South America, but there used to be like South America used to be an island. Like when the monkeys were evolving, and so that's why they were separated from the northern hemisphere, from North America. But then, like since they've had like the Panama Strip, like where the Panama Canal is, like since that strip of land has been there, like evolutionarily speaking, it hasn't been that long since that little strip of land's been there. Mm-hmm. But all the monkeys that lived in that area were arboreal. And so they had to live in trees. So they were separated, like deserts, like separate those monkeys from like North America. So these type of monkeys that just live in trees, they wouldn't like wander across the desert,
Yeah, of course not. Yeah, why would they?
Yeah, because they like trees. Because other animals did wander across the desert, like peccaries and even jaguars wandered into North America from South America. So lots of animals did cross the desert, but monkeys weren't inclined to. So, but I mean, I think it's cool that there's. So then I went on a search to try to find out how many monkeys actually live wild in North America. And there's actually quite a few colonies. Like there's a few colonies of macaques in Florida. There's like rhesus macaques. We talked about them. They have herpes.
Yeah, and the ones you just talked about now. So that's what I was going to ask. Why are there so many in Florida?
Because that's like the warmest state.
So do you think
it's kind of like
they just like move that way, or
no? I mean, I think they like if they got loose like in upstate New York, they'd all die out in the winter, But if they got loose in Florida, they'd have a shot of like surviving. Plus, there's so many invasive. There's like so many invasive plants and stuff. There's probably like fruit they could eat, like native like fruits. They could even eat. Because that's why there's parrots wild living in San Francisco because of all the ornamental fruit trees. Yeah, there's wild parrots in San Francisco.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. The wild parrots at Telegraph Hill was a documentary that came out about maybe 10, 15 years ago. And actually my mom's ex-husband, his brother did the score for that movie.
What is it called?
It's
Telegraph Hill?
It's called The Wild Parrots of Telegraph Hill. So they're like South American parrots that live wild in San Francisco because there's so many ornamental fruit trees that people have in their yards and stuff, like rich people.
Mm-hmm. And
so they can subsist on, I think it's like 2 different types of parrots that hybridized.
Wow.
They live together. Yeah. But the thing with Florida, there's tons of invasive species in Florida because it's like almost like a tropical climate. So like tropical animals can live there.
Mm-hmm.
Like all kinds of pet fish got loose. Like you could go to canals in like the Miami area and just go fishing for like tropical fish and like stock up your aquarium.
Wow, that's weird.
Because there's like Oscars that live, Oscars, those big fish. Oscars live there, like all these different kinds of cichlids, like knife fish, any kind of weird tropical fish that you have in your fish tank could probably live in Florida. Strange. And so there's squirrel monkeys, vervet monkeys, and macaques in Florida in like self-sustaining colonies. And then there's 3,000 macaques live on an island in South Carolina too.
What? How? Wait, what? Why?
They were like research subjects that got loose.
Okay.
And they just colonized. I guess South Carolina on the coast, it's pretty tropical too. It's pretty warm. And then there's also one of the Florida Keys. They call it Monkey Island. They have a bunch of monkeys that got there somehow.
That's so strange, dude.
Yeah. I think Florida's pretty badass.
Well, does Florida's don't they have really loose pet laws too?
Yeah, they used to. I don't know. I think some places you can't own certain pets because they can get loose. They might have that now. But people ignore it, though.
Is that kind of why Florida has all these monkeys? Or?
Well, I think one reason there's so many tropical fish in Florida is because they would have fish farmers that would farm fish for the pet trade.
Oh,
and so they'd have like ponds and shit. So it's real easy for like a pond to like overflow after like a heavy rain, flow into a river.
Floods, yeah. Wow. Yeah. Okay, interesting.
So it wasn't just like because how people have like a sick fish and like, well, maybe I'll let it go in the wild so it can have a chance to live. Like those probably die, But if you have a big farm,
exactly, that's what I would think.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I kind of like feral animals though. Like I just like the concept of like some animal getting dumped off somewhere and they find their way. Like it just seems like a really good. Cool. Epic story,
Yeah, it seems pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
Hold on, I know I saw you mention another thing about feral animals in one of these billion monkey stories you sent me.
Was one of them other about feral animals? What else?
I don't know.
What else did I send you?
Oh, I see here another Florida story about these herpes carrying monkeys.
Yeah, their population is taken off. Oh, yeah, I guess what they were doing is they were, like, capturing them, and they were kind of explaining to the public, well, it's for their own good, they have herpes. And they were capturing them, and then people found out that they're sending them to research facilities to do, like, animal testing. So then the local population got up in arms, and they said, fuck you guys, stop capturing the monkeys. So now the population's exploding, and they're starting to harass, like, boaters and stuff.
Well... That's what happens.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's funny, dude.
But so monkeys like going apeshit, that segues into our next monkey story, which is the lockdown. You know how like India has a lockdown, like a COVID lockdown? It's like the third wave. You heard about that?
No. What's happening over there?
Like India is like getting hit hard with coronavirus. Did you know that? They're in their third wave or whatever. Yeah, India is getting... So the lockdown affects the monkeys because they close temples and stuff. So like a lot of these monkeys in India, they live in temples. And then when people go to worship at the temple, they give food offerings to the monkeys, But then during a COVID lockdown, like nobody comes to the temple. So the monkeys live in the urban area. They have nothing to eat. So some local fruit vendors got together and they started feeding the monkeys again. So.
Oh, nice.
So that's like a positive monkey story.
Yay.
But it's kind of a sad situation in India, though, because because I thought maybe monkeys would eventually evolve into higher life forms in India, It's like, they're like urban monkeys and they know how to like shop and you know, they'd like hang around in cities. Like I thought eventually they'd like evolve or something,
Right.
but the approach they're taking is they're trying to slowly like sterilize all the monkeys.
So see, they're trying to keep them from evolving.
I know, so that's kind of fucked up.
They're trying to
Ruined my
keep
whole
Planet of the
theory.
Apes from happening.
Yeah, so they're like sterilizing
Maybe
them.
you fucked it up. Somebody listened to the podcast and heard you say that.
Yeah.
And they were like, holy shit, we got to do something now. Start sterilizing these herpes monkeys.
Well, there's monkey refugees now there in India because like they used to, like a lot of times they'll have like a fort that they hang out in or something, or some place where they've historically like hung out.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's becoming all globalized. So a lot of times they'll develop these areas and then it'll be like a fucking high rise. And then the monkeys have no place to live. So they become like displaced monkey refugees. And they just like wander. They just wander around the countryside trying to like rob people for food and stuff, you know.
Jesus.
It's kind of sad. Yeah.
So the change in cities leads to monkey displacement from India News?
Monkey displacement, yep. Yeah.
Orchards, small farms, empty spaces, or even forts, places they lived in, are disturbed, developed, or destroyed. They're forced to move out in groups and clash with human beings. So they just become gangs?
Yeah, roving bands of monkeys. They'll just kind of roll into your neighborhood and start trying to eat all your fruit.
Dude, it is weird how much like us monkeys are.
I know. They have like little tribes. Actually, that is an excellent segue into our next article about the monkey accents. Did you see that one?
No.
How much they're just like us. So there's like these, I think it's the red-handed tamarin. I think there's like the red-handed tamarin and the black-maned tamarin. Like they're distantly related monkeys. And they're territorial, so they encounter each other, but then they speak different languages. So the one monkey figures out how to speak their language to tell them, like, fuck you, get out of here. They speak in like a different accent when they talk to them.
Weird. Didn't they? I think they found that in other animals too.
Yeah.
They'll have like local, what would you call that?
Local dialects. Like the like orcas. Orcas have that, right? Yeah, orcas have dialects.
Maybe, I want to say like meerkats do too.
Oh, really? Meerkats? That makes sense. They're social animals. Okay.
You spell meerkat. Am I spelling it right? I did spell it right. Dialect, I guess?
Yeah. Meerkats have dialects? That makes sense. I hadn't heard that, though.
I don't know. Now I'm not saying that, so maybe I'm not right.
But it is true about orcas, though. They have different dialects. And actually, did you know there's like 3 different kinds of orcas? Did you know that? Like in the same area, there's 3 totally different species of orcas that don't even like interbreed. They haven't interbred for like 500,000 years or something like that.
So they're like they're like racial purists or something.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, because they have like the salmon eating orcas, and they just eat salmon. And they live like along the Washington state coast and stuff like that, California, Oregon. And then there's the nomad orcas, and they just like have loose territories, like they just wander around the ocean, and they eat mostly like mammals and stuff. They eat like seals, like sea lions. And then there's the other orca that eat like the tongues out of whales.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
They just kill, like I remember
that story. They
chase like whales, and then they catch them and they eat the tongue, and then they let the rest like sink to the bottom of the ocean.
Oh, there you go. Useful. So orcas are just like assholes, is what we're finding out. They're like racist. They're wasteful.
But they never harm human beings, though.
So,
like, isn't that a little unusual? They figure this animal is like enormous, weighs like it's like the size of like a city bus, right? It can kill giant whales and rip their tongues out. It can like skin sea lions alive. You know, it's a savage animal, like several times bigger than a giant great white. Yet they never like harm humans. You know, they lead them to safety when they get stranded and shit like that.
Game recognized game, bro.
I guess. Because they know we're the real G's.
They're like, oh, hey, there's some. They're like, here's some other people who like to throw
Murder
away shit that they. Yeah, like these motherfuckers would definitely eat a tongue and throw the rest away.
Yeah. I guess they're right about us, though. Yeah.
What's up?
I guess they're right about us.
How funny,
But isn't it weird? Like, we think we're so smart and we still can't figure out what the hell they're saying, but they can figure out what we say.
That is weird.
Like they totally can figure out our language and we can't figure out their language. Like, we think we're way smarter than they are.
Well, they can they figure out our language? They can figure out a few words, right? Like they can.
No, they figure out like really complex commands and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, because they teach them all that. And we still don't know like how the hell they
like. We know they do something. We know they have dialects. We know they have like local like accents or whatever, and they have those songs that travel forever. Is that them or is that? Yeah. So
I think that's the other whales. And their brain, they have more folds in their brain than we do.
So we're aware of that, but we're aware that there's something there, but we can't figure it out.
Yeah, we can't figure it out. We cannot figure out what they're trying to say.
Dude, that's interesting.
We're just telling them, hey, do this, and we'll give you a fish. And they like totally figure it out, And they try to say something to us that we can't figure out.
The ones that are caught, they're just like the idiots, or like someone who fell into bad circumstances and then got caught by the crazy monkey people.
Yeah, because they don't even like develop their natural whale culture. They're cut off from that. They just live in a fucking tiny swimming pool.
Yeah. Either they're the retarded ones, in which case it's probably cool. You get fish.
Their fin flops over, like their fin grows.
That's so sad, isn't it? How
so gross
weird.
Looking, yeah. And they get all scarred up because they like fight each other, like they're super violent towards each other.
They got these like lattice of like scars on them. That's so sad, dude.
Yeah, because like the females like pick on the males because they can't maneuver as good.
Jesus,
because they're so big.
I'm so glad that like SeaWorld and all that shit is getting like. It seems like it's like a thing of the past, doesn't it?
Yeah, I agree with it.
Is SeaWorld?
I think they should shut it down. They shouldn't keep those things in captivity. Of course, then how are you going to really? I guess. Well, I don't know. If you go to the West Coast, it's really not that hard to find whales. Like, you go on these whale watching boats, you usually see them. Just do that.
SeaWorld is like plenty open,
if you want to see whales,
you can still go to San Antonio, San Diego, or Orlando to go see SeaWorld right now.
Where do they get their? Well, you got to see Blackfish. You didn't see it, right?
I did, yeah.
Oh, you did?
I think I did.
Because I think it's hard.
I don't think I actually saw it. I think I just heard enough people talk about it.
Oh, really? Narcy won't watch it. She won't watch it. She knows it's going to be depressing and sad.
Yeah.
Because we'd like to watch nature shows and stuff, but they're starting to get they talk too much about global warming and shit. Like, we're trying to smoke some weed and escape into a beautiful nature show. Mm-hmm. They're always like, yeah, human beings are fucking up everything.
You remember that?
Here's the coral reef now that it's bleached out by global warming. We don't want to see that. We want to see cool shit.
Do you remember recently when we were when Project Veritas got that they got that hidden camera where the CNN producer was talking about how
Epstein?
Well, they were talking about Epstein. I think they were talking about Epstein. I know they were talking about how COVID was chilling or chilling out, so they were gonna turn down the fear stuff on that and turn up the fear stuff on climate change. That was the next thing.
Oh, really? That was recently. Yeah, recently. I didn't hear about that.
A month or two ago. The big thing. Wow. Well, you probably did hear about it. I think we talked about it, but the main headline of it was that he admitted that he was that CNN was actively trying to fuck over Trump and was ignoring crazy stories about Biden and was just downplaying them on purpose, which everybody kind of knew. But that was the big headline. Yeah. But if you watch the whole interview, he talks about COVID. I thought that was the biggest crazy thing was he's just straight up admitting that they're fear mongering, that CNN was fear mongering about COVID, and that now that seems to be chilling out. Well, the next thing that we're going to do is going to be climate change. And so you saying that, it's like there's other things I've started noticing too, where they're like really amping up the climate change stuff. And it's not. I believe in climate change. I don't see any reason not to believe in it. But like,
yeah, I believe in it.
I think it's interesting to watch in the last month after I saw a homeboy say that. Suddenly, it's like you said, it's everything. It's just bam, bam, bam. Climate change, climate change, climate change. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's so different too.
This is the new thing that we have to be crazy about.
Well, they could just fearmonger about Trump, just like endlessly, just like endless news cycle of fearmongering about Trump. Look what Trump did,
right? But he's gone, so then they had to replace it.
He's gone, and they can't cover Biden because Biden does all the same stuff as Trump. Because remember that tweet I showed you?
That was a great tweet, by the way. I hadn't even thought about this. Wait, let me pull up this tweet because I honestly this has totally escaped my thought process, and it's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Let me see. Where was it? Did you message it to me?
I think I did. Yeah.
I don't think you. Or no. I think you actually tweeted it. Yeah. Okay. So this is.
Yeah.
It's not the thing from Disclose, is it?
It was a couple days ago, maybe.
Oh, damn. Was it a couple days ago?
Yeah. Because I go ha 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 ha.
There's a whole lot of ha's. You're right.
Yeah. How Jimmy Dore does it.
Here, I see it.
Yeah.
So it's from Caitlin Johnstone.
I've
only read a couple of her articles. Who is she? What's up with her?
She's pretty good. She's like Australian. She started out writing about Bernie, and then she got more into anti-imperialism. She's pretty good. She just, once you've read like her point of view, it's pretty much. I mean, she pretty much has the same message all the time, But it's I check it. I support her on Patreon. Yeah, I mean, I know where she's coming from. I like her stuff, but I've read most of her. Just both parties suck, and they just serve the oligarchy. It's a bunch of hocus pocus.
Totally
she's like similar to Jimmy Dore, pretty much. They've been on each other's. I think she was on Jimmy Dore a couple times.
I didn't know that. I thought she was more of a cranky kind of person.
She's like anti-imperial. Well, she does engage with people. Like she tells people, fuck you, and like says sarcastic shit.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I see mostly on.
She gets in like flame wars on Twitter.
She always shows up in my feed like a lot because I tend to agree with stuff she says. So I'm always liking things she says.
Yeah, she's pretty funny. Yeah, so basically the tweet is
constantly fighting with like random randos on there. Yeah. I'm just like, who is this? Like I thought she was kind of like she also seems kind of. Well, I guess she's just super anti-establishment, but yeah, she's way conspiracy kind of like.
Yeah, she's super, and she's talking about UFOs a lot. Like, just what a coincidence! Like NASA wants to start this space force, and now they're saying UFOs are real. Like,
and I love her because she will tweet something really hot, like a real hot button bullshit, and I'm like, yeah, I totally agree with you. And then her next tweet will be like, by the way, Josh, if you think it's this, then you're wrong and you're full of shit. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. Like, you know what I mean?
She'll go to the next level. Yeah, she'll go everything. Like she'll say like on Veterans Day, she'll say like all the U.S. veterans died in vain. They're just serving corporations, killing brown people.
And someone on the right will be like, you go, girl. And she'll be like, fuck the right, by the way. And then like someone on the left will be like, yeah, thank you. And then she'll be like, and the left. Like she gets real bad. Yeah,
she's pretty funny. I was one of her first Patreon supporters. Like she only had like when she first started. Mm-hmm. I think she first started like in 2016, like with writing about Bernie. And then she went to Patreon. I was like one of her first Patreon subscribers. I've had like conversations with her and stuff. Like she used to have this Facebook forum. Only like a few people were members, and I would like talk to her and stuff. And she introduced me to her brother, who's like volunteering to help black bears or something. I don't know. But
Let's get her on the fucking show, dude. Let's get her on the show. She's cool.
She stopped doing them because like she'd go on a podcast, like she'd go on Jimmy Dore, and then people would like say like she's wicked fat and all this stuff, which she's really not. She's really not that. She's really not. She's just like looks like a normal person.
She
like,
needs to stop interacting with people on the internet.
Yeah.
Like, that's, you can see it just watching her Twitter. She's arguing with dummies. Like, she is wasting time, like, all day doing that shit. And that's driving her off of podcasts. Like, I don't even read comments and shit, do you?
She tries to be positive. Like, she gets into spirituality once in a while, but nobody really, I don't think she gets as much engagement when she makes poems and artwork and stuff. Like, she tries to be more positive, but I think their negative shit is what catches on with people.
Yeah, but she needs to just not pay attention to those people. She's too popular. You can't pay attention to every person talking to you on the internet.
But I think it's too late for me to get her on this podcast because I got like an argument with her, but I don't think she didn't block me or anything, but I got an argument with her about like porn or something. Like,
yeah.
She was saying something about porn, like all porn is like degrades women. And I was like, well, what about women that like porn? Like, are they degrade? Like, I don't know. She like porn. She didn't really. I think she got pissed off. She goes, "You're like an old time follower, and I don't want to get in a big fucking argument with you. So just shut up, you know." So I don't think.
Why would she get in an argument?
I don't know, because I was just saying. Because I was like, I wasn't even really trying to argue. I was just like, is that really true that like all porn is like degrading to women? Like, isn't there like some porn that women like?
Sounds like a pretty hard like knee jerk to be making. Like,
yeah. So
I think there's a lot to talk about there, but like to immediately,
but he immediately went like 0 to 60.
Like, I don't know if that's true, man. There's a lot of stuff.
Well, I didn't really want to get in a big argument with her. I just made like an offhand comment, but she'll catch you off guard. Like you'll make some offhand comment, like I would on anybody. That's like one of these pundits, but she'll respond to you though. Like other pundits just ignore you.
See, she needs to stop that shit, dude.
Except for Ryan Grimm blocked me.
Hopefully someone's listening to this and they can tell Caitlin Johnstone to stop talking to people on the internet. She doesn't need to do that. Like, just chill out. That's not doing anything good for her. Like,
no,
you know?
I think it's not good to be in a anti-imperialist headspace like 24/7 because it never gets any better. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just like beating your head against the wall. And you could do it for all your life, and then somebody after you could do it all their life, and then you know what I'm saying? Like
the empire never dies, right? Isn't that what?
Yeah, you can fight the empire for like generations, and you know, I mean, if that's what you're about, I mean, I mean, personally, if I was like, say, I was like a Palestinian, I would just fucking emigrate out of there, you know?
Yeah, I'd try to figure out a way to get out.
I wouldn't like die fighting for my country. Like maybe I'm shallow, but I'd rather enjoy life and just.
I agree with you.
Just, you know, spend my whole life raging against the machine because, like, the machine is gonna like prevail after you are gone. You know, so I don't know.
It's like I guess that's kind of Rob M, the guy that was on here before. We were talking last night.
Oh yeah,
and he was saying like, oh man, I wish that anybody who wanted to be president and was running for president, like they would force them to go into like deep psychoanalysis, and they have to like. You know, do like psychedelic therapy and all these different, you know, like to like, you know, become a more enlightened person. And I go, yeah, but then they wouldn't want to be president anymore.
I know, because they're all like malignant narcissists that want to be president. I know.
It's like, you know,
because like smart people like know how much they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And like narcissists, like they're not aware that they're really in the dark about most things, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Like just the idea of being president of the United States, like only a like narcissist would want that job.
Yeah, I can't imagine someone. So I don't know.
That's pretty funny, but I guess I don't want to be fatalistic. But I feel like. I only want to like engage so much in politics because I just feel like it's just so much is out of your control. You know, I want to do like little things like if some cool person's running, I want to vote for them, or you know, I want to like help the environment by maybe you know volunteering at a nature center. You know what I'm saying? But I can't just like rage against the machine nonstop because you never get anywhere. It's just negative. You know.
I think I made our friend Matt Staggs very upset when I said something similar because.
Oh really?
Yeah, because basically I tried to say like, well, we were arguing about just some politics stuff. Stuff, and he.
Yeah.
I basically said to him, well, we were disagreeing, and I said, you know, well, it doesn't really matter, man. It's, you know, what you and I think about this doesn't really matter, actually. That's the good thing. Like, I was trying to be like, see, it's cool. It doesn't matter if we disagree. We can still, you know, everything's cool.
It was like your olive branch.
But he took that to be like, you fucking, like, you know, like, you don't care.
Fatalistic.
You don't want to, like.
What are you, a nihilist?
But I'm right, though. What the fuck is Matt Staggs and me going to do? What are we going to go do?
Right. Like I got so excited, like to like vote for Bernie and get behind Bernie, and then he never made. Like again, I got suckered into it, giving him all this money, not a lot of money, but way more money than I ever gave any other candidate. You know, just like 2016, where I got all excited that he didn't make it, and then just the same thing happened in 2019. Same thing happened, and then I get all worked up. And it leads nowhere, you know. It's just like a big waste of energy, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It sucks, man. And then like we're seeing with Biden right now. I mean, I did not vote for Biden because I was like, fuck Biden.
Right.
But I was absolutely right. Everything that I said was going to happen with him happened. And then, we got way off track here.
We got way off track.
The thing we started talking about was Caitlin Johnstone's tweet, let's bring it right back here because this is what she's talking about. She says, the fact that Biden is continuing all of Trump's policies means that those who believe Trump was fighting the establishment must now admit that either A, they were wrong, or B, Biden is also fighting the establishment.
That is
love this because
airtight.
Exactly. I love this because it's a math equation. She gives you basically, she's giving it about and saying like, hey, dude, you can't have it both ways.
Algebra.
Logic
I don't believe
says,
in libtard algebra.
And this is something I never thought about. I haven't, and she's absolutely right. And yeah, this has all been more theater. I was wondering, after thinking about this, I thought maybe like Trump, I was thinking the real problem that the establishment had with Trump wasn't that he wasn't bowing to them, but that he was an outsider trying to break into the club.
You know what, though? I think that's fake, because I used to think that. I think it's more like the establishment is like, what's that weird dude that owns the WWE? What's that guy?
I know who you're talking about, but Vince McMahon? Is that right?
Vince McMahon. Yeah, the establishment's like Vince McMahon, and they just want him to play a heavy. They just want him to play a heavy. He's like totally working for the establishment, you know? That was just his role. Because but that was a weird thing. So like when Trump's elected, like he doesn't get away. The only thing different is he didn't get away with as much stuff. But Biden wants to do all the same shit that Trump wanted to do, and then Biden gets away with it. Because nobody wants to cover it.
Whoa, what if it was on purpose and Trump was there just to set it up so that people would be so upset at Trump that whatever Biden does is fine? And since they're not paying attention to the details, they don't really give a shit what the actual thing is that they're talking about.
Yeah, that could be it too.
What it was. I don't know.
That could be it too. I don't even want to argue with like mainstream Democrats because I just feel like it's like, maybe if they have a happy pipe dream that they think by voting Democrat they're saving the world, it makes them feel warm and fuzzy inside.
Yeah.
And like I don't really have any solution for them, so I might as well just let them have their pleasant fantasy. You know?
Yeah.
You know, because like in reality, like the same kids are in cages at the border. You know, we're military budgets getting even bigger.
Right.
You know, like wages are declining even more. Like nothing's really changing. Everything's like getting worse. Like BlackRock buying up all these houses. You hear about that, right?
I know we're supposed to be talking about monkeys and not sad things, but let's please talk about that because that's a big fucking crazy story, and I don't think it's kind of boring, and so no one's keeping up with it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Have you followed it pretty close? Do you know what's going on with it? Yeah,
like I guess, and it's not just that BlackRock. That's like one of the biggest companies, but I guess like. In most major like metropolitan areas, up to 30% of the new homes are being bought by like corporations and stuff.
Yeah, what's going on with that though? Like I saw something that supposedly
you will own nothing and be happy. That's what it's about.
That is what it is, right?
Yeah, you're not going to be able to buy a home because you'll have to just rent it from a big corporation. Yeah. Yeah.
So I saw somewhere where what is it called? Blackstone?
BlackRock or Blackstone?
Is it BlackRock? Let's look it up.
BlackRock? I think there's two different ones.
Buying homes. BlackRock, yeah, it's one big word, BlackRock. No space. There we go. Yeah. I typed it in and immediately Vox. BlackRock buying houses isn't to blame for the chaotic housing burst. Come on. Yes,
They
it
just
is.
always run
Yes, it
interference
is.
for the establishment. Fox
Fox
sucks. I hate
News,
Fox.
Fox News, BlackRock, other investment firms killing the dream of home ownership. Okay, well that's
Wait, VOX or FOX? Which one are you saying?
VOX was the first one. Now I was reading you a Fox one.
They're such shills. They're such shills.
So I heard somebody say that BlackRock was connected to the Fed. Is that true?
Yeah, I think it's.
Ow.
Yeah, I think that's part of the COVID thing.
Hold on. How is that true? Do you know?
I think it is. Yeah, I don't know exactly how it works, but they're connected. Like the big bailouts where they gave all this money to the
Okay,
Fed.
this is from Wall Street Journal.
Okay.
Oh, son of a bitch! It's not going to let me read it. Of course.
Oh yeah, you got to subscribe.
Fed hires BlackRock to help calm markets. Business wins big. And this is I can't see the date. I think this is in June.
Oh yeah.
Let me back out and find
We should do
else.
research ahead of time on these stories. There's a lot to wade through on this.
No shit, man. That's why I was kind of hoping you had maybe knew about this one more than I did.
I know.
I read
know,
like 2 articles about it, which I mean, which I feel means not very much.
Why don't I research? I'll have homework. My homework assignment will be to figure out what the hell that shit's all about. We'll talk about it next week.
We'll talk about it next week. Sounds good. But yeah, it definitely seems to be somebody is trying to push through that goddamn 2030 shit, right? They're trying to.
Yeah. Yep. You own nothing and be happy.
Me and Jess were looking at buying a house this year. That was our plan.
Yeah.
So I was hearing this. I go, what the fuck? They're buying entire neighborhoods, bro.
Have you looked at houses here? Like we were looking at a little bungalow that's kind of cute.
Sure
$350,000.
They're very expensive. Yes.
Yeah.
But the market is great here too. So I mean, this is boring talk. We won't talk about it.
Well, I was thinking though, if you do buy a house
here, like
at least you could sell it for a lot of money too, though.
Yes,
so you're not really like out money.
That's what we've been thinking is like, we don't want to pay rent. We can buy a house and instead of paying rent, have something that we can rent out later or sell later.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
In a place that's like booming. Like when at least 2 years ago when we moved here, it was like the number one place for young people to move to or whatever. Like,
oh, it is. Everybody wants to move here. Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. So
let's not be boring boomers.
Yeah, that's a way boring boomer conversation.
Did we cover all the monkey stories though? Or?
Hell no. You gave me like 20 monkey stories. I'm just trying to think if we wrapped up what we were talking about. Caitlin Johnstone. Yeah, we were talking about Caitlin Johnstone.
Yeah, Biden. Well, he wants to keep the tax cuts permanent, right?
Just this idea.
Which how could you spin that? How could you spin that? Oh, those are Democrat tax cuts. How could you spin that that's progressive, wanting to keep the Trump tax cuts to millionaires permanent?
Yeah. That's weird. Like, how do they? They don't, right? They just don't do it.
They just like space. I don't get it. These like shit libs or whatever you want to call them. Like they live in an alternate universe. You just can't get through to them. You know, so I don't even try. Like I said, like if they have a happy pipe dream that makes them feel good inside, maybe I should just let them keep it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I totally know what you mean. It's definitely a waste of time arguing with anyone over stuff like that.
But really, it's from watching the news. Really, that's all. Just being a normal person, like that wants to be informed. So you turn on network news, like you just get brainwashed, and after a while, it all makes sense to you.
Especially if there's one that you like and you stick with it.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what people do. They find one they like and they stick to it.
Yeah, and they like it when they're like ripping on conservatives. They like that because it's
Well, I find myself loving it when people are ripping on liberals.
Yeah, I know.
So I do the same shit. Like I
do the same shit, but then it never really bleeds over to me wanting to be more conservative though, because then I check into them a little bit and they say even stupider stuff.
Yeah. You and I are in a good position for that. We're in a good position because like the swing, like you said, the swing away toward like they're never going to like win me over. I don't think like it's too late. It's too late. It's just never going to happen. You're never going to make me one of you, But
there is some real weird subcultures though. Like I follow some people on Twitter that are kind of conservative in like a weird kind of subculture way. Like I learned some internet. I learned what Lindy. You know what Lindy means?
No.
So right wing Twitter, they have this expression called Lindy. Like that's Lindy or that's not Lindy. And I was like trying to figure out what the fuck are they talking about.
How do you spell it?
Lindy.
Okay.
So it actually makes sense. This is actually a thing I think is pretty cool. This is like something positive about conservatism. Mm-hmm. So it's based on this thing called the Lindy effect. And these comedians, I guess, I think they were in New York City or Chicago or something. These nightclub comedians came up with this idea of the Lindy effect because they had Lindy's delicatessen. Okay. And so it's the idea that like an organization, the longer it survives, the more likely it should survive much longer into the future. You know? Mm. Like if it's been around and stood the test of time, it's probably going to keep standing the test of time. You know?
What kind of examples do they have? I just opened this up, an article from...
like Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola. Just major like institutions that have been around for like Catholic Church, like shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's been around for 2,000 years. It's probably not going to go away anytime soon, you know?
Right. Yeah.
But if something's like some fly-by-night thing, like who knows how long it'll last, you know? Well, just Google it. Google the Lindy effect because I found it on Wikipedia.
Yeah, I did. Well, I'm looking at this article from, I think it's Wheelist. I really have no idea.
Wheelist, yeah, the Lindy effect.
What's the Lindy effect? The world is full of noise, pulling out the signal of the meaningful content. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
Would it be helpful if there was a guide you could use to filter the knowledge worth knowing from the rest of the noise? There is. It's called the Lindy effect. The Lindy effect is the idea that the older something is, the longer it's likely to be around in the future. Nassim Nicholas Taleb. Oh, hey, isn't that the same guy?
Oh, yeah, that's the Black Swan guy. I guess he's into it.
Okay. Yeah, he wrote a book, Anti-Fragile Things That Gain from Disorder. Defines it for non-perishable items, things like information, intellectual production, etc. Non-perishable items. So memes. They're talking about memes, right?
Well, anything, really. Like a club, a restaurant.
Those are memes, right?
Well, if it's, memes could be, or just ideas, like the family, shit like that. Like, anyway, conservatives seem to like the kind of conservatives that are kind of like trolls on Twitter. You know how like there's like woodchucks, right?
But then there's like okay, yes, keep going. Sorry.
There's like woodchucks that just like, hey, no, I'm not gonna let anybody kick my gun. They just say stupid shit all the time. But then there's a more like kind of sophisticated conservatives that like to troll people. And they have like elaborate trolls a lot of times, like they're the ones that are like talking about Lindy type shit. And I was like, what the hell is Lindy? So I looked it up and it's kind of cool concept.
How do they use it? They say something's good. They say it's Lindy.
They say like fake tits are not Lindy, like stuff like that.
Okay.
And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I thought I had it figured out. And then they said that. And I was like, no, I don't know. No, I don't know what it is.
That is cool. I like it. But what's funny is when I Googled it, Lindy on Urban Dictionary came up and it said, Lindy, usually a female, is a beautiful, gregarious, courageous individual who loves to dance and sing. She hails from northern windy climates, likes animals, and seeks to maintain a connection with nature and old friends.
She sounds super Lindy.
What the fuck does that mean?
I think the Urban Dictionary is kind of like Wikipedia. Like anybody could fill it out, and then if it gets a lot of
worse than Wikipedia, I see crazy shit on there. So it's like that's not right. That's not true.
No, you know what's fun? Is looking up towns on Urban Dictionary because I went to high school in Binghamton, New York, which is now part of the Rust Belt because like all the manufacturing left. Like IBM used to have like a big plant there, so they had a lot of upper middle class like people that worked at IBM. Mm-hmm. And then they like shut down, and so now it's like a hellscape. It's like all old beat up buildings and stuff. So I look up Binghamton on the Urban Dictionary, and they're like Binghamton, like they're coming up with mottos for Binghamton. Mm-hmm. Binghamton, because life isn't everything.
I just looked up Denver. Let's see.
Oh yeah, in the Urban Dictionary.
Yeah. Well, Okay, why Denver is the greatest city in the world. It receives 300 days of sunshine a year. It's the nation's most highly educated city. This doesn't seem mean.
Gay.
Denver,
look up,
the place where your face has second-degree burns for 3 months of the year, and then everything dies and turns to brown dirt. Yeah, that's true. They got it.
That's funny.
Oh my God, there's all these nice ones on here. They're ruining it. Denver, one of the most overrated cities in the country. Home of the Columbine shootings, John Ramsey killing, multiple church shootings, Ludlow massacre. What is the Ludlow massacre?
Oh, I don't know. I think they killed a bunch of people. Did you hear about that massacre?
Yeah, that's usually what that means. What
was that massacre where they're talking about recently? And was it like down south somewhere where they just like wiped out all the black people in the town or something?
What?
People were talking about that a few weeks ago.
A recent one?
Was it in North Carolina or something? Or
hold on, what happened?
It was like a massacre that was like kept secret, like nobody knew about it, even though they lived right near it. They found like a mass grave. They found like a mass grave. Yeah.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, I heard about this last year. I think was when it was becoming really big.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me see if I can find that. That's a fucked up story. It's. Yeah. Hold on, isn't it the Black Wall Street story?
No, it wasn't black. It was a mass grave. Look up mass grave. Because they found a mass grave where they buried all the people. It had to do with an elevator, like some elevator. There's some guy, some black dude on an elevator. Yeah, it was in Tulsa.
An excavation found 11 coffins in Oklahoma or in Oaklawn Cemetery. In Tulsa. Oh shit! God damn you, New York Times! You motherfucker! I will never pay you, New York Times. Suck my dick.
Couldn't you go in private mode or something, or incognito mode?
I'm not even trying it. Let me see. Oh yeah, maybe
you can do that.
Maybe. Hold on. Yes, it is letting me do it.
Okay, see,
you're right. I usually do that. But I was being really lazy. I don't care.
Oh, you already knew that? I thought I taught you that.
I hate the New York Times. No, I use it all the time for like work.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't feel like paying for subscriptions to anything, but
yeah, I guess
it doesn't always work. Some of them have figured out ways around it. I've noticed.
Yeah,
I kind of assumed, but I also just figured I'd give someone else my traffic. But anyway, we're here now. So this is from the New York Times. Mass grave unearthed in Tulsa during search for massacre victims. This was last October.
Yeah,
a forensic team in Tulsa, Oklahoma, said on Wednesday that it had unearthed 11 coffins while searching for victims of the 1921 massacre in which hundreds of black residents were killed. The mass grave was discovered in an area of the city's Oaklawn Cemetery, where records and research suggested that as many as 18 victims would be found.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess it's pretty messed up. They had a mass killing. But then, okay, so this is a good segue, because it's like a fucked up thing with like racial issues. Mm-hmm. So then on right-wing Twitter, in addition to talking about
the Black
Lindy,
Wall Street story. Yeah, this is the Black Wall Street.
Oh, it's Wall Street?
Well, they called it.
I thought it was in Tulsa.
Hold up, bro. They called it the Black Wall Street because
they all were a bunch of rich businessmen and stuff, right?
Yes, they were like, it was the one place where like black people got to act like, normal, like they were normal people.
Oh yeah,
and they had their own like community, and they had like, and they called it. Yeah, they were wealthy. Yeah, there's wealth involved. That was like, and they called it the Black Wall Street, and I think that's what was a big thing behind it, man. That's a fucked up story. I'm sorry. Okay, keep going. Segue.
Okay, so now how like I was talking about what's Lindy? Like I hear right wing Twitter talking about Lindy, like what's Lindy, and then so I figured out what Lindy is, and then this other term was buck breaking.
Okay.
Like you heard of that term?
No.
You haven't heard of that?
No. What is that?
Buck breaking. Okay, so it's a mystery. I still don't totally have it figured out. But okay, buck breaking is apparently in the Caribbean. There was a tradition of how to stop like defiant slaves from being defiant.
Okay.
Like they said it was like they made it sound like this is like an institution. Like this was an actual thing that was done like a lot, where they would like take a slave and they would like pull his pants down and like tie him to like a log, so he's like bent over, and then like lash him, and then like the slave owner would butt rape him, like in front of everybody, like in front of his whole family and stuff, like in front of like all the other slaves.
Oh shit!
And And that's how
Is that real?
they would. Well, the thing is, like, people say it's real. Some people say it's real, and some people say it's not real. And so it's like this big thing. They made a documentary about it. But other people say there's no proof that it really happened because.
But it's not very hard to imagine that happening.
Yeah, but they were like saying that like there was guys that would like they'd have guys that was their job and they just went around and like butt raped all like the uppity slaves and stuff, you know, and like that was like a career path you could have.
Seems like a weird career path.
Like, so we got to call in a specialist. This guy's getting all uppity.
Real. They don't know if it's real or not.
They don't really know if it's real, but some people think it's really real. And I guess that one guy, like, what is it, Tanisha Coates or something? He's like that columnist that writes about issues like that. Like, some people say like he made it up, but because he has like a weird fetish. It's like really,
it sounds like a really not fetishy. A real thing. I mean, to be honest, it sounded fetishy when you were saying it. Like I was like, okay,
yeah. There's lots of memes about it.
I thought this was going to go a completely different direction. Like we were like, going to
talking about deer.
No. I thought once you started talking about what was happening, I was like, oh, this is going to be like a weird like fetish thing where there's going to be fetish porn with like slaves getting raped. I honestly thought that's what
well, some people have taken it to that level. Yeah, some people have taken it to that level.
Of course.
But I just learned those two terms.
Ted, I bet anything this is like most things, and it's somewhere in the middle there, and this probably like happened once or twice. Right. You know, there was some crazy fucked up dude who did this, and then somebody told the story enough times that people were like, check it out. Back in the day.
They used to always do this.
Right.
Like every Sunday. Yeah.
I think people forget the way that like human beings talk to each other. When we're talking and having conversations, we always say things in generalizations, like crazy, huge generalizations.
I know.
But that's just the way we talk to each other. That's the way humans talk to each other.
Well, that's what it is
with
all this.
You're smart about it when you're writing and you'll slow it down and not do it. But when I was about to do it right now. I always go blah, blah, blah. I always.
Yeah.
Like, people do that all the time. You just can't
generalize. Yeah.
It's built into our language, at least English, I guess, maybe.
Well, that happens with a lot of stuff in history. Like something happened over like 1,000 years and you just can say, oh, they did this to these people just with one sentence, you know, you just like go over like 1,000 years of history.
Yes.
Because I think that's a lot of that stuff happens with like the Native Americans. Like there's obviously a lot of like fucked up shit that happened to like the Native Americans, you know, but like a lot of stuff happened over several hundred years, like really gradually, you know, so it's like makes it easier to imagine, you know, because like in the early days of like before the revolution, there wasn't like white people and Indians. It was like the French and they had like the Dutch. They had like the Germans and like the English, and then they had this tribe like the French, this tribe like the English, and they were all fighting each other. Like it was all convoluted, you know.
It was all tribal
Say,
warfare.
yeah, but then you just say this big sweep. Oh yeah, like the white people came, they wiped out all the Indians. Like that happened over like several hundred years, you know. Like really
it's
gradually.
Like, okay. It's like a few minutes ago we were talking about this BlackRock story. You and I are uncomfortable talking about it, even though we've read 2 articles.
Yeah,
a couple articles between us, right? Like,
because it's so complicated.
Like, oh, that's too much to talk about. This is something that just happened, but people are totally comfortable being like, well, thousands of years ago, people did this.
Yeah. right. Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah. Well, it's become a meme now, so you'll see that. You don't follow like weird like right wing Twitter accounts, or like who do you follow on Twitter?
No, I think most of mine is now weird left-wing Twitter accounts, honestly.
That's funny, because I try to keep tabs on everybody.
I used to, but I just don't I don't know. I'm not really on Twitter that much anymore. I don't really cruise around it anymore. So I guess the feed is different. I don't really understand how the algorithm works now, but yeah, I think mostly
that's true.
Mostly, oh, you know what it is? I know exactly what it is. I was about to say mostly it's like communists, I notice, and stuff. I get a lot of like
you follow communists
and shit.
You follow tankies on Twitter?
I definitely do. But like I bet I engage more with that stuff because it kind of irritates me and like makes me, freak out a little bit. So
I think I followed some tankies, but I don't know if I think a lot of them unfollowed me.
I follow a lot of right-wing people now that I'm realizing it, but they're never in my feed, so I don't know why.
Do you follow BAP?
No, what is that?
Bronze Age Pervert. Have you heard of that guy?
No, let's look it up.
He's like pretty famous. I think he's a Fed.
You think he glows?
He like never gets banned from Twitter.
Say it again. What's his name?
Bronze Age Pervert. They call him BAP. BAP.
Okay. I've never heard of this. You're way more like, I don't like social media that much, dude. I just can't get into it.
I don't spend that much time on it, but I just had this idea as I go along. Oh, I should follow this demographic. Like I try to figure out what all these different demographics are, and then follow. Like I try to find a smart person from each like weird point of view, so I get the best stuff. Yeah.
But I mean, you like engage in it and stuff, and talk to people and shit. And I think I don't know.
Sometimes I do. Usually I just say something and like nobody says anything back. It's like yelling into the void.
This is weird. He's got like Alex Jones on here.
Yeah. So he wrote a book. So you know Barry Weiss? You know who Barry Weiss is?
That chick, right? I don't like her.
Yeah, she left the New York Times because she felt like it was too censorious against her moderate opinions or whatever.
Right.
She was on Joe Rogan and stuff.
Yeah,
and she hates
that's what I remember was.
Yeah, she hates like what's her name that ran from Hawaii. What's that chick's name that ran for president? It was from Hawaii.
Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah, she hates Tulsi Gabbard.
Exactly. Yeah, I remember that clip that Jimmy Dore keeps bringing up of her being like, Tulsi Gabbard is the devil, and then he'll be like, "What do you mean?" And she'll be like, "I don't really know. Could someone look that up for me?"
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's an Assad toady.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's right.
What's the toady? So she wrote an article about Bronze Age Pervert because I guess he's somehow connected to Steve Bannon or something.
Oh wow, he has 69,000 followers too.
Yeah, and he's into like naked bodybuilding, all this weird shit, and he wrote this book. I think I have his book. He wrote this book. What the hell was the name of the book? He wrote Bronze Age Mindset.
Okay.
And I don't know. It's a bunch of rants. It's like a weird thing. But he thinks that naked bodybuilders should like take over the country or something. like an army of naked bodybuilders could like bring back the Bronze Age, where I guess like in the Bronze Age, like the men were men, even though they were like had a lot of gay sex. Like they used to like fight wars and shit. So he's saying we should like bring that back and have like a renaissance.
Why
anyway,
nudist?
Like Barry Weiss,
because he says he's a nudist.
Like,
why?
Well, he just believes in like nude bodybuilding. Well, he posts like Handsome Thursdays. He posts like just like European like bodybuilders like kind of posing like half naked and stuff. He's like trying to bring back. I guess like that's his answer to like feminism. He's like very anti-feminism. And
so is he like
anti-modernist?
Is he like one of these like gay misogynist people?
Well, no, he's like it's really hard to like describe what he is because it's totally not any one thing. But I feel like it's sort of related to like the frog Twitter phenomenon, like the people that like trolled to try to get Trump elected because they're like accelerationists and stuff. Right. So he's like part of that.
People.
Part of that. Yeah, he's also sort of tied in with Mencius Moldbug. You heard of that guy?
Yeah, who is that guy? I do know that name.
He had like a blog.
He's the guy that was part of that
Dark Enlightenment.
The Dark Enlightenment, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's sort of like he's like a branch of the Dark Enlightenment.
He's one of the main progenitors of it. Am I using that word right? Anyway, he
appeals to those type of people. He appeals
I
to
know
the
him under a different name, and I
bug.
can't remember what it is though. But
his real name came out. His real name came out. It used to be Mencius Moldbug.
Mencius. I know him as his real name. Hold on, let me. He's I think one of the main. Curtis Yarvin. Yes. Okay. Yeah. That's how I know
Curtis Yarvin. So anyway, Barry Rice wrote this article like this Bronze Age pervert guy. Like he has his finger on the pulse of like the Bannon like Trump administration, like, but he's just like this weird dude, like on Twitter, and he used to just like constantly like troll people and like put like fill their inbox with like gay porn, like celebrities and stuff. He'd like send them like gay porn in their inbox, and he just had like a big Twitter following. And then Barry Weiss like wrote an article about him, and then his book like really took off. Like people were talking about him. But I think what it is I think he like works for like the CIA, and he's trying to infiltrate this like dark enlightenment, like frog Twitter, like weird phenomenon.
What makes you think that?
Like these because people are saying like a lot of you know how a lot of right-wing people are always getting banned off Twitter?
Yeah.
And so he's like a big person on Twitter, and he says all this edgy shit that would get other people banned, but he never gets banned. And like nobody really knows who he is. It's like this, he's totally anonymous, and nobody really knows who he is. He has like a podcast with where he speaks in like a fake accent that nobody could trace.
I have heard of this guy.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay.
Yeah,
the more you've been talking, the more it's like reminding me of shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Weird. Huh.
So I follow him, and then I'll see other people comment, and I'll be like, oh, I'm going to follow this person. They seem really fucking weird.
Right.
And so I sort of am in touch with like what's going on in like that corner of like the web, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I don't really understand it.
Oh, that's weird, man. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting because it sounds like a fake. The whole thing sounds like a fake character. I'm looking at it.
I think he totally is.
I'm
I think
looking
he's
at
a
the
fag.
Wikipedia about him, which is cracking me up.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah. Read some lines from the Wikipedia. It's probably funny.
I just closed it. Hold on. Bronze Age Mindset. Well, let's see. That's his book, right?
That's his book.
He's
Yep.
how do you say that?
Pseudonym.
No, when it's like pseudonym plus anonymous.
Oh, pseudonymous.
Yes, that's the
Pseudonymous.
word. You said it right. No.
Yeah.
Maybe? Pseudonymous?
Yeah.
Pseudonymous?
Yeah.
Far-right writer who self-published a book called Bronze Age Mindset and hosts a podcast. Yes, all these things that you said.
Yeah.
Called Caribbean Rhythms.
Yeah, Caribbean Rhythms.
Why?
Oh, because I think he believes in like living. He believes in always being out in the sun, like being out in the sun a lot.
Okay.
So he believes in like eating like a weird diet and like being out naked in the sun, like lifting weights. Like that's his philosophy.
Okay, Bronze Age Pervert self-published the book Bronze Age Mindset via Amazon Publishing in June 2018. The 77 chapter exhortation is written with intentionally poor grammar, mixing Nietzschean philosophy with criticisms of modern society. So
yeah,
it's
he's big into Nietzsche.
This is a troll, right? Like,
it's a big time troll. Yeah.
Bronze Age Pervert explicitly stated that Bronze Age Mindset is not intended as a political manifesto and was written in a mood of revelry and laughter. The mainstream media, he claims, deliberately uses humorlessness as a strategy and pretends to see policy proposals when we engage in fun and trolling. So yeah, he admits to it, huh?
Yeah.
So is he actually right-wing, or is this like a thing that he's doing?
Like a character? Well, I think he's like an anti-modernist, you know? Because you know how Nietzsche was kind of like anti-modernist? Like he liked to harken back to like the blonde beasts that were like these warriors that would just conquer shit, you know?
Yeah, he was.
He didn't believe in democracy. So it's like the Dark Enlightenment because they're like anti-democracy.
Yes, and they want to go back. You're right. That's a big thing with the Dark Enlightenment.
They want to go back because they think everything's like too feminized. Everybody's like soft and has too much comfort. So we all become like barbarians, like barbarian hordes. But then it's all like incels that follow him that live in their mom's basement and they play like World of Warcraft all day.
So is he actually that, or is he making fun of that?
Nobody knows who he is.
Fuck. I'm really interested in this.
That's the thing. Nobody knows. Who is he trolling? Is he trolling the right?
Exactly.
Is he trolling the left?
That's my question right now. It's like he's clearly fake, but why? And wow, this is interesting, man.
And like, who the hell is he?
I think it's kind of perfect that he's in our monkey special, though.
Yeah. Some people think he's like Israeli. He's like an Israeli graduate student that's like he was like really close with like the Straussians. Like they think he maybe was like he he had like a sugar daddy that was like a gay, like Straussian person. You know the Straussians, right?
No,
Straussian school of political philosophy.
I don't think so. What's up?
Remember like the book, The Closing of the American Mind?
Mm-mm.
You've heard of that book?
No.
It was big in the 80s. This guy, he was like this college professor, and he wrote The Closing the American Mind. Like, Google that. I forgot his name. It's like Bloomberg or something, or Bloom. Howard Bloom.
Alan Bloom.
Alan Bloom, yeah. So Alan Bloom was this college professor, and he was not well known, but he was known in certain circles, and he was a Straussian. Because there was this guy, I think his name was Leo Strauss. He was like this political philosopher from the Chicago school.
Okay.
And anyway, they were extremely influential in the neocons. Remember, like, all the neocons were in the Bush administration, and they were in the project for the New American Century.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Remember we were talking about that? We were talking about September 11th, and they had this, like, they wrote this paper, the Project for the New American Century. Like, they're saying we should take over all these countries in the Middle East and have, like, regime change. We're going to have, like, this American century where, like, America's going to dominate the globe, and it's going to be for everybody's benefit. And then they had this famous paragraph in this paper they wrote where they're like, this work will probably take several years unless we have a new Pearl Harbor that will give us an opportunity to, like, make bold action.
Wow.
And it was almost like they were sort of talking about September 11th, you know?
Wow, man, that's crazy.
And then after September 11th happened, then they put through their agenda immediately, you know? We went in and, like, invaded Iraq and invaded Afghanistan, did all this shit. So anyway, the Straussians were very influenced by this guy, Leo Strauss. And Howard Bloom was a student of his.
Not Howard Bloom.
Or what's his name?
Because I love Howard
Alan Bloom.
Alan Bloom, yeah.
Yeah, Alan Bloom was a student of his. Mm-hmm. And he was kind of a weird figure because, well, first of all, Leo Strauss had this theory of history that all philosophers speak in riddles, and they always have, like, two messages. They have, like, the exoteric message, and then they have the esoteric message.
Interesting. That's, yeah.
And then most philosophers, if you
like
read them, you'll find,
belief, right?
Yeah, they'll have, like, a secret code, like, in the middle. They'll actually say what they really think, but it'll be in code because they don't want the masses to catch on to it. And also they don't want to be, like, killed like Socrates, because their idea was that, like, Socrates, like, told the truth to everybody, then they eventually killed him because he got sick of hearing it, you know? Mm. So they're saying, like, philosophers now, like, ever since Socrates got killed, all the philosophers kind of went underground. And he, like, divided the world in, like, three classes of people. It was like the philosophers, the gentlemen, and the vulgar.
Okay.
So, like, the philosophers are, like, only the people that are, like, the only people that are, like, truly human are, like, these philosophers that are, like, smart enough to know, like, how the world works. But they work with the gentlemen because the gentlemen are the people in charge. Like, they're, like, generals, you know, they're, like, warlords, like, politicians, you know, like, CEOs of big corporations. Like, they're, like, the shakers and the movers. And they just want, like, prestige and honor, you know, whereas, like, the philosophers, they, like, seek wisdom.
Okay.
And so they, like, sort of take people in, like, when the philosopher, and it kind of gets in as, like, some gay shit, though, you know, like, you know how, what was that guy that wrote the temporary autonomous zone?
Oh, Hakeem Bey.
Remember that guy?
Yeah, Hakeem Bey.
Yeah, Hakeem Bey, like, he had the thing where, like,
he's a pederast.
He was, like, a pederast, so, like, they think there was the Straussians, there was something like that, you know, because
why was he connected to them, or?
No, they weren't, like, connected, but they think there's some kind of gay thing going on where they, like, pass on
similar
knowledge, like, through, like,
okay,
yeah, because, like, you know, all these English boarding schools for, like, the rich people, they're all, like, the headmasters, like, always, like, a pederast and stuff, and, like,
yeah,
a lot of the professors are. And they even think that, like, yeah, and they even think, like, if you read Lord of the Rings, it gets kind of gay, and they think because he went to one of those schools, you know, and they're saying, like, Frodo is kind of gay for, like, whatever the guy's name is.
Dawkins talking about that. Yeah, like,
yeah, Dawkins, like, oh, it's not so bad. Yeah, I mean, I got fondled, but it's no big deal. So,
right.
Well, anyway, so the thing is, so Alan Bloom became famous overnight for writing this book, and he got like adopted by the conservative right, like the Christian right.
Okay.
But then like he also like died of like HIV or something. Like he was gay, but he believed that like it's okay to be gay, but just keep it like secret, you know. So you like make appearances. The vulgar is everybody else.
So
like everybody else, like most
dirty, the great unwashed or whatever.
Yeah, like almost everybody in the whole world is an idiot. That's who the vulgar are. And there's just rich people that are like powerful, and then the philosophers. They're the only ones that count.
It's like I don't even know that he's wrong, really. You know.
Well, I mean, when you read it,
call them the philosophers. What a douchey.
Well, I read like some of his books, you know, and he like sort of talked about some stuff and like what he believes, and he basically believes in like he's like an elitist, you know.
Of course, yeah, because he's a philosopher, right?
Yeah, and they said like the philosopher's job is to help these fucking rich guys, like, you know, do things right, you know, like make the world a better place. Like you can't reach the vulgar because they're too stupid, but some rich guy that'll pay you money, you can help him. You know, so make the world a better place. Get in good with the rich people.
I feel like that's a real like Masonic view too, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's like the Straussian
call people vulgar too.
Yeah. So they think that like this guy might be like some Straussian like plaything or something, you know, like some rich guy, some neocon, and so he has like a trust fund and all this time in his hands. I don't know, there's like a lot of different theories, you know, because like. Because how can you spend all your time naked bodybuilding? You know, like, don't you need a job? You know, like, who the fuck is this guy? You know,
or the whole thing is fake, is what I'm thinking. And he's probably
well, it could be like 12 people. It could be like 12 people that post. It's like that guy that updates Wikipedia whenever they try to go after some CEO or some military intelligence person. Like this one guy will edit it, and they tried to add up all his edits, and he edits like 18 hours a day for like 600 days in a row or something. Like it's impossible that one person could do all the editing. Yeah, have you heard about that guy that edits Wikipedia? Like whenever there's any kind of like establishment thing, like because people will get on Wikipedia and they'll try to like say like left wing stuff about some establishment figure or some intelligence organization, and then it'll get edited by this dude.
Man, how do I find that?
I'll try to look for it later.
Cool.
Because people were trying to like stop him from doing this stuff, and they like try to tally up all his edits, and they're like saying like no one person could make that many Wikipedia edits, and so they think it's like a Wikipedia account that's actually run by like the CIA. It could be like 12 staffers that like do it.
Yeah, well, of course they would do that, though, right? Like,
yeah,
that only makes sense. Like, why would they not do that?
So some people think BAP could be like a whole bunch of intelligence dudes too.
That's interesting, man. This has really piqued my curiosity. I want to look into them.
Yeah,
I love the mystery of trolls. You know what I mean? Like, why?
Yeah, like really good trolls.
Yeah, what's his goal? You know, like who is he? Like you said earlier, who is he trolling? You know, that's weird.
Right? Is he trolling the right or is he trolling the left? But it seems so weird that like he never like gets in trouble enough to get banned from Twitter. Like all these other guys, they do. These pundits, you know.
Yeah, it seems so fucking
they get demonetized,
kicked off of Twitter.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
Yeah, they get demonetized off of YouTube, then they get kicked off Twitter. Like all this shit happens to right wing pundits. But he's always like tongue in cheek, and he's kind of hard to pin down. But he says a lot of egregious stuff that would get most people banned.
Well, I'm curious, and I'm gonna have to look some more at him.
Yeah.
Look, let's grab one more monkey story.
One more monkey.
We got real dark and derailed our whole monkey show.
Yeah, so we did.
Let's try to bring. What do you have one off the top of your head?
Obese monkeys. Yeah, there was a macaque that weighed 4 times the weight of a normal macaque because it was fed junk food. It was panhandling for junk food in India, and it ended up weighing. I think they're supposed to weigh like 6 kilograms or something. This one weighed like 15 kilograms.
Yeah, this is from MSN. Stop feeding the monkeys. You're making them obese. Oh my God, it's got a huge gut.
I know. It looks like the monkey version of Fat Bastard.
It does. Oh my God. So what's happening? Where are they?
I guess it's somewhere in India. I don't know.
Let's see. Hold on. I already lost the link. Where'd it go? I got too many things open. Here we go. Many kind-hearted people take to feeding stray monkeys, but a study-based NGO has found that this has led to them getting obese. A monkey weighing 15 kilograms, nearly 4 times the average normal adult weight for a female of its kind, was recently rescued. Wait, hold on. 4 times the average?
Yeah. Yeah, so basically like a 400-pound woman. That would be the equivalent, yeah.
It was rescued from Deonar. Where's that?
India.
It does sound like India, yeah. Come on, Sharma.
You know what I discovered so basically I got most of these monkey stories by going to Google News or DuckDuckGo News. Like I do a Google search or a DuckDuckGo search, and I would just hit news, and all these monkey articles came up, and a lot of them are articles that are written in Indian newspapers where they just assume. When you read the article, they just assume that you know all about India. Like, I think it was just written, like, for Indian audiences.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, they've got so many fucking monkeys running around. We don't.
Yeah, and it's English language, so that would make sense.
I bet if we have any listeners from India, they're just like, another monkey story? Who fucking cares? Why do you give a shit? It'd be like if an Indian podcast had, like, a special feature where they just told pigeon stories or something.
Yeah.
We're like, who cares? Pigeons are just gross. Shut up.
Pigeons are cool, though. I like pigeons.
I kind of like pigeons, too, but they're
gross. Invasive species, so I like them.
Which bird I hate is seagulls. I fucking hate seagulls, man.
Oh, yeah. They're gross.
They're nasty.
Well, their poop stinks like fish. That's what's gross about them.
Disgusting. I used to live on the coast. They were gross, dude. I hated them. Shit birds.
I saw a clip of a seagull that ate a whole adult rabbit.
What?
Like it killed the rabbit. It killed it by pecking it in the head, and then it swallowed the whole thing whole.
Hold on.
Yeah, seagull swallows
my God! I've already found rabbit
it
on Welsh Island.
Yeah.
Oh God! I don't know if I can handle this. Wow. Yeah. Oh my God. Its jaw just so
brutal.
Unhinges.
So brutal.
It takes the whole thing down, fur and all.
Yep. Just gulps it.
Oh my God. And there's another seagull standing right next to it looking at it like, the fuck are you doing, man? Well, that's disturbing.
It is disturbing.
And it goes on for a minute and a half. Okay. Well,
but I've been seeing a lot of cool clips. Look up crocodile eats pigeon. Because it's kind of cool. It's like a crocodile that's like pretend. You know how they pretend they're like a log?
Uh-huh.
And it's just sort of chilling. The pigeon's pecking around on the shore, and all of a sudden, bam.
That one's not coming up. I'm seeing it killing storks.
Yeah, they kill storks. We talked about this several times in the podcast about the crocodiles that put sticks on their heads so that a bird will grab it to build a nest and it eats the bird. Yeah, they're way more intelligent than we thought, so that's kind of scary.
That's way scary, isn't it?
Because they hunt in packs, too. They hunt in packs. They cooperate. They do cooperative hunting.
Ugh, I disagree with that.
No, they do.
No, I mean, I don't want that to happen. I don't like that.
I almost worked for that biologist because I emailed him when I read his book.
Oh, yeah.
I asked him if I could be his assistant, and he said yes, but then he was just going to go to Alaska and study birds. I didn't really feel like I wanted to study crocodiles. Yeah, I wanted to study crocodiles.
Jesus Christ, dude. That fucked me up.
That seagull thing? Yeah.
You just ate that rabbit whole, man. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I disagree with that.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, fat monkeys. You know what? Let's close this crazy.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to open any more videos like that. That was horrible.
Yeah.
So where can people find you, bro?
Wait, you're cutting out. You can find me on Twitter at Ted Heisman.
Okay, great. What about your Instagram?
Utog Soup. UTOGGSOUP.
That's what's up. Yeah,
I got to make more sculptures, actually. Your friend Rob said I was a good sculptor, and I was like, yeah, I should probably sculpt.
I was thinking about getting him on the show. We keep talking about him.
You should get his take on stuff.
We only had him on once, but
I think he should become a hobo like I used to be. Just report from the road.
He should become a hobo like you used to be. We were just talking about it last night. He was like, man, your friend Ted, he makes me feel good because I realize like the things I want to do aren't that crazy. like other people have done them. So, you know, it's not like abnormal.
Yeah. I should tell him some of my stories, like how I hitchhiked from Anchorage to Seattle and lived with a Vietnam vet and like rented a room, and my rent was a 20-ounce can of Steel Reserve that I would get with my day labor paycheck.
Yeah, let's do that. We'll talk about next week.
Okay, let's do it.
I was even thinking about having like maybe doing another show with him too. Because he's not. Yeah,
we should.
He's not super like news savvy, but you know, I can talk to him all day. So anyway,
life experience.
Anyway, find us at CCN Podcast on Twitter, and we'll see you guys next week.